It's time for a football update in this Line Vision update with UNA head football coach Chris Willis. The UNA football team had an inter-squad scrimmage over the weekend. Coach, you've had a few days now to watch the film. After you went back and watched, what are some things that jumped out at you?
Well, defensively, we looked really well. I thought we flew around. Defensive line and linebackers look like the strongest unit right now on the team. I would say that's probably the core of the defense, if maybe not the whole football team. They played really well. Secondary, I was kind of interested to see how they play on a bigger space. Our practice facilities is not quite as long, and I thought they held up and played well. So overall, defensively, we looked really well on that side of the ball. Offensively, I thought at times we ran the ball well. We do have the quarterbacks in red shirts, so you can't tackle them, and so I think they would have picked up a few more yards running. So overall, running the football has been strong offensively, and the offensive line's done a great job there. But we did have too many drops in the passing side of things. I mean, we didn't throw the ball particularly well. I don't think it was necessarily just all quarterback. I think it was a combination we had 5 drops. We dropped it, missed on some protection up front, and then the quarterbacks threw some bad balls at times. So we've got to improve in that area moving forward. But if you're struggling a little bit at one spot, you got to pick it up from the other areas, and so we got to be good around our quarterback in all other phases.
Let's jump into a couple of position previews. Let's start in the secondary. Let's take a look at your defensive backs. A year ago, Coach, one of the best secondaries we've had in some time at UNA. It's an area you've coached a lot over the years. This year, led by Dorsey Norris, Maurice Carnell back as well. But in addition to those two, you'll have a lot of fresh faces back there.
Yeah, that's a new unit outside of Dorsey, really. It's in Maurice. So, you got A.J. Bracy. We've got I just went blank. We got Chris Johnson at safety, and we got Josh Thurman, DeJuan Smith, who was a red shirt last year. So, we've got some guys we feel good about at the end of the day. We just kind of make sure we got them in the right spot, whether you're an inside corner, can cover the slot receiver, you can play outside. Overall, I like where we are right now with the secondary. They're new. I think the expectations of them are kind of like a lot of people say, well, they won't be as good as last year. But then on the other hand, they may be. I mean, we just don't know. It's so many unknowns back there with that spot. But I really believe if they'll play just half of what we got out of last year's group or a little bit more than half, well, we're going to be fine because I do think we're better up front in the D-line and linebacker position.
Let's flip it over to the offensive side of the ball and talk about the offensive line for just 1 second. This group you talked about during media day, 21 fresh faces on the offensive line, 1 returning starter in Lance Herod. So you'll have 4 new starters up front. Are we starting to see that, top 5 group really come out?
Yeah, I would say right now we've probably got 11 to 12 guys we've narrowed it down to, and at the end of the day we're going to travel about 10. So we got a good idea probably who those 10 are. We've got what we consider 2 more days of camp, today and Tuesday, and to kind of finalize that. And then come Wednesday, we practice that night. We're going to move towards Texas A&M Commerce and start going that direction. So, 2 more days to kind of finalize what I think we already know, but we're going to go 2 more days of it, and let's see. On that 10th and 11th spot, we feel pretty good about it. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think we've got pretty much the 5 starters, and then we've got 4 or 5 guys we feel like are going to run the number 2 group.
UNA football team getting set to wrap up fall camp, opening up the season next Thursday, August 31st, at home against Texas A&M Commerce, a matchup between the number 5 team in the nation, Commerce, and the number 6 team in the nation, North Alabama. Still time to get your football season tickets. Give us a call at the UNA Ticket Office.